thatmovieguyUK.
Within film festivals, you always get one or two divisive films. There has not been one boo in any screening I've been to at Venice Film Festival this year so far. Suspiria did break the mold. We, as film critics, actually divided into two factions at this point. Either we loved it or we hated it. And we expected that. We knew that we were going to make enemies and new friends. But today, on the 4th of September, we were at the Sala Grande watching Vox Lux, and at the end of that movie, it got booed. Those boos filled me with joy, because I adored it, and Brady Corbett is probably one of the finest young filmmaking talents in cinema right now. The whole concept of Vox Lux for me was very shadowed because it just said it was a pop star melodrama with PTSD involved. And that's all we knew. And obviously with Brady Corbett, he actually did win Best Director and Best Debut Film in Venice in 2015 with Childhood of a Leader. And for me, I've kind of not followed his career too much, and this has been rectified, I assure you. The story of Vox Lux follows the story of Celeste. During a music class after the winter break, one of her classmates comes in with a gun and massacres her whole class. She survives with a spinal injury and is rebuilding a life for herself. During a song she sings at a service to remember her fallen classmates, the song grabs the attention of the nation and her life begins to blossom. She then goes on a journey with her sister, who now chaperones her, Eleanor, played by Stacey Matan, and her manager, played by Jude Law, and she builds a pop career for herself. During this early stage of her life, she actually down spirals and starts drinking, cavorting at a very young age, and we build up to the present where we meet her, well, played by Natalie Portman, and we are basically trying to see the world through her eyes after a very bad lawsuit has actually affected her career, and is now trying to rebuild and rekindle with her fans and trying to cope with her alcoholism and PTSD. Brady Corbett has created a very haunting, very real, and a very dramatic film. This is not the pop melodrama that we all were expecting. This is a film that is layered with the history of the United States of America over the last 20 years. We cover school shootings, we cover 9/11, we cover radicalization of people, and I just didn't expect it. The opening sequence alone is a shock and a half because the imagery that is used is unreal. Not since Gus Van Sant's Elephant have I been this traumatized by a school shooting kind of film, even though Denis Villeneuve's film is pretty good, but it really does set the tone for the rest of the film. It is unreal. The film is divided into 3 chapters with an epilogue, and we have a narration through it. The narration, I won't tell you actually who is the narrator because it is a good surprise. And we go through actually different kinds of footage. We have video camera, camcorders, we have pop camera, you have all the cameras, okay? All the cameras. And it's just this interesting guerrilla kind of feel to it. And Corbett actually has very interesting color tones to the film. It is in a 35mm print, which is a very precious way to have this film already. And it really benefits from it because at the beginning you have these like nice little blue pastiche kind of colors, but then we go onwards to Natalie Portman's segment of the film and it turns a lot grayer. There's a lot more darkness to it. And you can feel the tonal change. And it just has that nice melancholy feeling to it. Even the music, I'm not talking about Sia's music, we'll get to that later, but the actual score of it is very harrowing, very haunting. Haunting is a big word for this film. I think everybody is using haunting for Vox Lux. But it just sets itself nicely. The takes are longish when it comes to the dialogue sections, but everything else can be quite sharpish, very sudden. He uses a tunnel metaphor through the whole half of the first of the film, And it really has Lost Highway kind of feel to it, the music and just the way that it's shot, just very Lynchian. But this is a metaphor for a dream that Celeste has, and you understand more of her pain and what is really going on within her life. But the only downfall I would say with Corbett's story is that he tries to tackle these situations about radicalization, about 9/11, about school shootings, but he doesn't really tackle it on the head. If you get this film, you will understand that there is a message, but it's not very visible. And I wish that he just did it. If he just triggered that one element of radicalization as a Western filmmaker, this film would be making waves everywhere. For Sia's music, I must say, I think obviously the opening song where Celeste becomes a lot more prominent as a singer, I see it as a good song, but I must say the songs at the end, I didn't really understand much of what was going on. The end sequence itself is very odd, and I must say the last few lines of this film, which again, we won't spoil, are utterly insane, and I cannot believe what was actually said. When it comes to the performances, Natalie Portman gives one of her greatest performances, and obviously for me, I think she should have won for Jackie a few years ago, but I think that this is the nomination, and I'm hoping win for her. At the moment, I would say she is definitely one of the frontrunners for award season now. It is obscure, it is wild, it is just fandango-y, it's purely dramatic. There is one scene where she breaks down in a toilet with Eleanor, who is quite distant with her at the back end, and you just feel her pain. That school shooting still haunts her to that day. The pain that she goes through every day because of this bullet in her spine, the medication she's on, her alcoholism. She knows that her life hasn't really worked out in a good moral compass, but she has hit the pantheon of success, and it really does show that success has a price, and her soul and her sanity has really tackled and faltered in this for her, and it's very sad, but it's a very bullish performance, and I loved it. With Rafie Cassidy, even her innocence and the way that she emerges and becomes more of a woman in the first half of the film, I really did admire it. I think she again is a very, very prominent young actress, and going from a Yorgos Lanthimos film to a Brady Corbett film, wow, that's impressive. She's picking good movies, and if she carries on like this, she's going to have a very long and luscious career. I think with Stacey Martin, unfortunately, I feel like she had to take a bit of a backseat with this film. I think she's a very good actress, and it was good to see her in an American film, I guess. She is the anchor of Celeste. She holds everything together. She has written the music. She desired the life that Celeste has, but as Celeste says, if you don't have an angle, you won't get the success. And this is the thing. There are so many meaningful and very poignant messages like this throughout Vox Lux. You can see why the entertainment industry is actually the way it is. It is so superficial, and it doesn't matter if you're the worst singer in the world. As long as you have that angle and you have that niche, then you will succeed. And that is a very overlying message by Brady Corbett, and I admire him for that. It just works so well. All in all, Vox Lux is probably my favourite film at Venice Film Festival, and I am actually going to see it again tomorrow because I can't get this film out of my mind. It is a very challenging film. It's not going to be for everyone. It will be divisive as hell. I think it's an 80% to 20% ratio right now. But honestly, if you want to give this film a go, I would highly, highly implore you to go and see it. It will be at Toronto Film Festival on the 7th, which is my birthday. I wish I was in Toronto. But still, I will be able to see it twice here in Venice. And once it comes out, I will watch it as many times as I possibly can. But again, Vox Lux is a very powerful and poignant film, and it will be stuck in your mind for a very long time. My written review will obviously be on moviemarket.co.uk and all my social medias below. I have a few more days left in Venice and a few more video reviews on the way for you, so be able to check them out and follow me on Twitter or whatever you want. And obviously, like I can normally say, Diolch, danke, obrigado, merci beaucoup, arigato, gracias, grazie mia, and obviously, never change. Especially if you're Brady Corbett right now. You don't change.